I'm going to ask you one more question before we go over the portraits. And I'm asking on that. We are now a country at war. And, I was wondering, what is your perspective on that?
My perspective is that we never should have gone to Iraq in the first place.
Well, I think the biggest mistake in the world. I don't think that we should spend the lives of our people, take the money that we could use to better the lives of people that live here and support the government and so forth, to try and solve some of these things.
I think it's outlandish that we're there to begin with. I mean, the Afghanistan thing certainly is justified, and I think if we'd done that and really put all our efforts into that, it would be quite different. The Iraq thing had no validity in my mind at all. And here we're sacrificing American lives and innocent Iraqi lives and destroying the infrastructure of a country. I mean, hopefully it'll come about, but I don't see any end of this thing.
I'm saddened when I think of the kids that are in Iraq now. It's a terrible war. And I don't know how we're going to get out of there. And I think we owed it to them to have done our homework, to know what we were getting them into.
The most telling thing about it, as far as the populace is concerned, is not when they hear the fatalities is what I'm reaching for. Not when they hear that, but when they see hospital pictures of the wounded. And it's one thing to say 7 dead and 39 wounded, but you have to see those 39 wounded to know how awful this is.
I think it's terrible. Any American that has to go, no matter what war you go into, even if it's a just war or not, but if the president, he's in charge, he knows what he's doing, and it's important that we are over there. But as every ex-GI will say, war is terrible, and you don't know it until you experience it.
The press has politicized this war so much, and they're at fault. I mean, they are causing more trouble than good. It was so different back in the 40s during World War II because, for one thing, everyone agreed as to what had to be done with this terrible situation. So there was no difference of opinion. To speak of, there is some, but not much. But then also, the reporting was not as excessive as it is now. I mean, every little thing is reported.
But I think of all the young men dying over there. My God, for nothing, absolutely for nothing.
I don't think there's such a thing as a good war. Some people refer to my war, World War II, as the good war. It was a terrible war. I mean, millions of people died. Millions of people died. Cities were destroyed. Art was destroyed. Futures were destroyed. It was a terrible war. A genocidal war. It was awful. But it was a necessary war, in my judgment. I'm not sure we've fought a war since then that was necessary.
And of course, as soon as the reports come down now, they are so politicized. I mean, nothing is just reporting anymore. It doesn't exist. That's not good for our troops, for our morale, for their morale, or for our morale. And it also breaks down the confidence of the world as far as the United States is concerned. Whether you agree with us being there or not is relatively immaterial at this point. We're there. We can't leave.
Now, I have 5 grandchildren and 5 sons. There's grandsons, and I certainly wouldn't want to see them over there. I wouldn't want to be over there. I mean, it's a different situation. You don't know who the enemy is. They could be standing right next to you. In World War II, they were out in front of you. There was a front.
My wife said, "You certainly do. Don't be fearful of having opinions. You have them." I do. I think it was a mistake. I'm disappointed in Powell. I'm just disappointed.
And I think he did this because he wanted in his resume having a wartime, to be known as a wartime president. He jumped the gun going in this without proper research and again doing it on the cheap.
I'm against it now. I think the occupation is a disaster. I know that most of the Americans have voted for Bush. I don't know why. I have to accept the fact that the majority did, but I can only think that they're out of their minds.
Well, then comes the question, how do we ever get out of this? And, you read what I read, and I feel so sorry for them because, especially the National Guard people who, weren't, and many of them, a good number of them are married. That wasn't true with us. At my time, we were mostly single guys.
I mean, I think we have to support our troops because they're there, and I pray that we can get them out of there. But wars are bankrupt. Wars are bankruptcy of the spirit, of imagination. If we're not better than solving a problem than by killing other people's children, we don't amount to much. And I think we have the capacity to amount to a lot more than that. Certainly our country does.